During interview, someone asked Bill Gates that is there any person who is richer than you in this whole world? He smiled and replying yes, that there is a person who is many much times richer than me. He replied that when he was not able to buy food as he can't afford earnings, one day while passing from New York airport, he saw a newspaper seller and asked a newspaper, but he don't have enough money to buy that newspaper at that time, so he returned that newspaper by saying he don't have money to buy that, but the seller gave a newspaper for free. And again, after 3 months while passing from New York airport, surprisingly, he saw a same newspaper seller who was selling his newspaper at that time. Also, he don't have money to buy that newspaper, but seller again give him newspaper for free. So he asked that newspaper seller why he is giving me for free. So he smiled and replied that it is from profit and it don't affect my income. So at that time also he take that newspaper for free. And after 19 years when he was at peak of success and richer, he remembered that seller, so he started searching that seller. Finally, after 1.5 months, he found that seller and asked, "Did you remember me?"
He smiled and replied that you are Bill Gates, so he asked the seller that once he gave him newspaper for free. The seller replied in yes, and not only one time but twice he gave newspaper for free. So Bill Gates offered him what he wants in return. For that he said that he can afford anything he wants at that time, but the seller became unhappy and replied that by this can we be equal. Being amazed, Bill Gates asked why. The seller again replied that I helped you when I was also poor, but you are trying to help me now when you are at the peak of success. Can we be equal? At that time Bill Gates feel that he was helpless in front of seller and understand how that seller is much more richer than world richer person.